Okay. Hey, Jayshree. How are you doing?
Hi, Jatin. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good. So we have two guests today. So can you help me introduce them or can you tell me a little bit about them?
Sure. It's a very exciting story. We have Poornima and Srikara. They are a couple. They are a wife and husband. They are partners, and they have started a very interesting concept, which is Agile Shala. That means Agile School. And I can't wait to hear more from them about how did they start this concept, how did they get the idea, and how is it going. So, namaskara, ಹೇಗಿದ್ದೀಯಾ
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ಪೂರ್ಣಿಮಾ ಶ್ರೀಕಾರ?
ನಾವು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ನೀವು ಹೇಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
Hey guys, what are you
ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ
speaking?
ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ.
Which language you are speaking?
So it's Kannada.
ಕನ್ನಡ.
Oh, Kannada. Okay.
It's
Okay,
spoken
nice.
Karnataka.
Oh, okay. Good, good, good.
Yeah. Not to be
So-
confused with the language spoken in Canada, please.
No, we do have a lot of population over here for people who are speaking that language, but of course, unfortunately, I don't speak, so I don't understand. Like, okay, which was that? Because for me, like coming from west of India, like from Mumbai, anything going south is like called South Indian, simple. But it's like, okay, we have to differentiate. Okay, this is Kannada, this is Tamil, this is Telugu, right? So okay, this gives me some touch points that okay, this is how Kannada sounds like now. So tell me a little bit of like as Jayshree mentioned about this Agile Shaala, or like how did you come? First of all, how did you come across Agile? Like
So my brother is an engineer. So he used to work in a setting where they had introduced agile team management. He's my elder brother. So when he was telling about, it's a new way of doing and how things work, that was when I first heard about agile. Basically, that was quite new. I think it was 8-9 years back.
oh wow.
It was pretty new here, so
Mhm,
it was quite exciting to hear about a new way of managing.
mhm. And how about you, Srikara?
Yeah. So I think for the past, as Poornima already mentioned, past 5 or 6 years, I have had no experience with Agile. I am an engineer, but I'm automotive engineer. I was working for Mercedes-Benz Research Center before I quit and joined with Poornima. So Poornima, she was working as a teacher and she would talk about Agile methodology every time. I mean, constantly she would talk about how we need to implement Agile in education. And I think it was 3 years ago that we started our own sort of institute, which was into teaching science and math through activities.
Mhm.
So I think this idea stuck to Poornima, I guess, December last year, if I'm not wrong, right, Poornima? So seemed like a really good concept to implement given the times that we are in right now. And we thought it would be a nice thing to have with children who are being homeschooled, because we have seen that they have all the freedom, but they can't use it. Time management is an issue. So we thought this would give us a really great platform to help them in planning their studies, even while being at home. So that is how
Mainly it
this
was
whole thing came to be. Yeah.
pandemic
Wow.
that made us think of, we had to come up with solutions for the new problems that we had to face in education. And a long-term plan of actually implementing it took shape during the COVID. I think it worked in a positive way for us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like innovation, right? You are coming with new ways of working, new ways of doing things, which is great. So before we go into more details, Purnima, like I did hear Srikara saying about that you were a teacher. So can you give us a little background about yourself, both of you, one after the other, so that at least we want to understand, like, okay, if you were teaching, then how did Agile came in? Like, later on, I know she did mention you heard from your elder brother, but that you are in a different zone, like different non-IT, like because Agile people think, oh, it's IT. So, so a little bit about your background, both of y'all, and experience a little bit whatever you've done in the past.
Okay. So a teacher, I have been a teacher since my childhood. That's how I started. I used to play teacher game, and I come from a family of teachers. So I think most of my friends remember me as a role play teacher, but I ended up pursuing my research because academics was my interest, and I had decided early on. I'm one of those lucky students who could actually identify what I'm interested in early on. So I was in my 8th or 9th grade when I knew I have to learn about molecular biology. I was quite fascinated by the whole aspect of DNA and stuff. So that is when my goal was to do PhD and get into research. So that path I took, and I continued till I finished my PhD from IIT Madras. So I completed in 2014. But during that time, I was teaching has always been my inherent, liking.
Passion, that
So,
passion.
yeah, passion. So there I used to interact with the BTech students, graduate students as teaching assistant. But I was more into research till 2014. And after I finished my PhD, I was on a maternity break and stuff. So I started teaching part time and get involved with graduate students basically. Then I wanted to actually uh, work as a teacher in one of my schools where I did my primary. So it was my principal who told me, like, if you're really interested in creative teaching, till you can get back to research, come join us. So 1 year I went there. I worked as a typical conventional teacher in a classroom of 58 children, and uh, it made me think very much about how things are at the current state. Like, I used to blame my teachers, but as a teacher, I knew what they were facing, so I could see the whole thing from a different perspective. Then I again went back to research because I got a very good fellowship and stuff. But yeah, the PhD students and interns who come in, they are not that great in application because we had to start from scratch, though they have finished post graduation. So that made me thinking. The teacher in me woke up, and I really wanted to do something that will lead to applied learning, basically. So that is when I started trying out certain project based learning with graduates. Then I felt it has to start early on. And my son was growing up. He was 2.5 years old. So I was seeing the natural way of learning against what has happened after 25 years of education. So that made me quit and take a call. And I started working with small children. And that's how I entered full-fledged into teaching. Uh, I decided, like, I have to choose if I have to do justice. So I want to create more scientists than be a scientist. So that was my intention.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely. Nice, nice. How about you, Srikara?
Yeah, to talk about my background, I had no experience of teaching prior to starting this with Poornima. So as I was telling you, I am an engineer. I have a master's degree in automotive engineering from Estaka. It's a university. It's a college Grande École in France, so Paris. So I did my master's there. I went to Spain and then I came back to India. Worked at Mercedes-Benz for almost 8 to 9 years as an engineer. Then I quit because we were planning to work with schools. Basically, the idea was to implement activity-based learning in schools. So that is how this whole thing started, and we started conducting workshops for kids to teach them science or math through activities, through games, basically. And yeah, that is how this whole thing started. And Poornima used to, tell me that maybe we should both get into teaching because, okay, one thing she kept, although I was never, much into teaching, I never had that confidence that I could teach someone. But I have a lot of interest. I like reading books. I like music. I love learning new languages. I speak about 8 to 9 languages. So that sort of helped me also once I got into the teaching field along with Poornima. So yeah, so I can say that Poornima is somebody who has taught me how to teach as well. So
So
every time before
in
class,
short, so she was the one who pursued you to say that, okay, say yes, otherwise you are not going to say no. So the
yes.
answer is yes, or you can't say no. Right, Poornima? Is it that was the case?
I think I made him realize I gave him the push, but once he enjoyed inside that, there was no look back for him. So
No, good, good.
children enjoy his classes more than mine. So he has
Oh
more
my
fun.
God.
So it was just the push that was needed. Rest, it's like he had to swim through it.
True. At times what we don't realize, like even like at times when we are working in a certain field, most of the engineers something, we think as, okay, this is going to be my, if I start today as an IT engineer, after 25 years or whenever I retire, I should be in the IT industry or in that field. But it's not like that, honestly. Like, as you mentioned, Srikara, that you started as an automobile engineer in Mercedes. Okay, switched over with Poornima in teaching, plus added Agile to it. Wow. So this was like, okay, she really pushed you a lot, eh?
Yeah, you can say that actually. She pulled me in rather than pushing me.
Okay. Okay. This is the husband talking now, right now, right? That she pulled me into
You
it.
should not ask in front of me, right? You are putting him in
Yeah.
a very difficult position.
So
Poornima,
Poornima, yeah, sorry. Go ahead, this is
so,
Jayshree.
so okay, I wanted to ask you, Poornima, how is the batch size? How are the students like? Are they from a particular age group, or have you grouped different classes? Please explain some format about your class currently.
I would jump in over here. First of all, let's understand like how did y'all come up with this concept of, you did touch base on it, but if it can go how agile and kids are going into it, and then add what Jayshree mentioned. If is that okay?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, go on, Poornima. I will give you the first thing to talk.
Okay, thank you. So the main thing was agile in education. Whenever I heard about how things work there, I always felt that group learning is the best among students, and agile can give a structure to it when what they are going to learn in teams. And that was something that made me look into different. I've been looking into agile in education literature that is available, the papers that are published, since I've been following up since 7-8 years, and there are only few groups who have actually tried it in education. Some have done it in the staff room, but very few in the classroom. And most of the classroom applications were also in the field of IT, like computer science engineering or graduate programs, where the students are already old enough to actually take the call of certain things and responsibilities. So I tried a lot in schools that I went and stuff, to inspire them. I will give it a try, but it didn't work. Everyone was scared because it was completely new. So last year when the pandemic set in, we had a couple of homeschoolers whom we were handholding. So they were preparing for their 10th open schooling exams and 12th open schooling exams. And we had to do it online. So we had to take online classes, and it became really challenging to keep them motivated, give them a structure and work. At the same time, we don't want to force. That's our whole ideology. We want children to learn with interest. We want the whole program to be child centric. We don't believe in telling them, you study this now. We want to create an environment where the child will go and or the student will actually go and pick up and learn. So it was against our ideals and principles to actually tell them, put a structure and give them a timetable to study. The other way, it was not working because there was too much of freedom for them and they were not able to take the responsibility. In the same time, because our son was also at home, their schools were not working, So we started conducting some workshops for children online. So we moved everything online, even hands-on. We used to send the materials home. From 6-year-olds, we tried some batches.
Oh,
And it
wow.
actually worked well. That was the surprising thing. 6 to 8-year-old children were more active, more hands-on, and they listened to us. They didn't disturb the class. They were more involved in their learning, which was very shocking for us. But because we feel 6-year-olds cannot sit in front of a system, right? So that made us think. We started conducting few sessions with our friends' children and our son together. And we saw that they actually learn well with just 1 hour of interaction. Playing games and telling stories, they can learn science and mathematics, English, everything. So one way we were sure that the online interaction works, which we were a little hesitant on. We also belong to that category where we thought everything should be hands-on, everything should be live. But this made us actually rethink about it. And there was freedom and we wanted to give structure. So that is when we started trying Scrum with these homeschool children. So we tried with the older kids basically. So we told them, very basic thing, like you have a storyboard, Scrum storyboard maintained. Daily, update what you are doing, what you're planning to do, how it went. So that we started and we felt that that will give a structure to them. And since they will pick up what they need to do, they will take it as their responsibility. We are not telling them to do it. But still there were a lot of, we had not fine-tuned it. So I think that is when we started looking more into it, digging more deeper on how we can apply it. And by December last year, we had tried a different trial and errors. We tried at home. It was very challenging for us, but we learned. We actually read about Scrum at home, Agile at home, the family, how it works and stuff. So we wanted to give it a try, and our son was very excited to fill the backlog. So, there was one moment when he went and added tidy the room, and he went and tidied the room also. So that was like, okay, if done properly, it works. That is what we felt. So that was how Agile Shaala was actually, the idea was conceived, and we launched the program officially in February. So 2 months went off in brainstorming and actually launching a company and getting into a more, till then it was more of self-employment kind of scenario. We became more formal as a company and as a more structured program. Structure under the structures.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah,
What a story.
Jayshree, yeah, you were asking about the batch size and that. Can you put the question again to them?
Sure. So what is the batch size like? Like how many kids in one batch? How do you conduct these scrums?
So we don't conduct the scrums. The daily scrum is not conducted by us. It is part of each family's role, you can say. So we have asked them to do it as a family, as a team. So they do it every day. Stand-up meeting and all those things. So they maintain a storyboard which they conduct as a team. Each family does it. So where we get in is, we have those reflection meetings. Initially we had it weekly, but now we have it either alternate weeks. Then we get the feedback from the parents and also the students join in. So as for the batch size, we have about 20 kids now. They are grouped according to their age group or the skill level wherever they are. So some of them, even though they might be a little older, but they join some classes with younger kids for certain subjects. Doesn't have to be for all the subjects. So maybe somebody is good at English for their level, but maybe lagging a little bit in say math, for example. So for math, they would join with their younger children. And English, they can, this is just an example. So suppose their English is really good. They can join with a group which is of the higher class. So we can sort of customize their learning journey. So that sort of keeps them interested also. Yeah, Poornima.
So here it's more of it's a blended learning program with family scrum. So it's like a learning community. So what Agile Shala stands is a learning community where parents are also taken responsibility. They have not outsourced their kids learning to us, but they're also responsible. So that is a
Oh,
they're very
nice,
important
nice. Yeah.
thing for us, because if we make them do Scrum on through virtually, but if they're actually doing it as a family, the parents are also involved in the process, and everyone is assessing ourselves, right? It's a learning journey for the whole team. It's not only for the facilitator or the parent or the student. It's a journey for all three of us together. So what we have done is the daily one is the Scrum based learning management, where the families have to put in, that is the compulsion that we ask them. They have to commit for 15 minutes per day to conduct the daily Scrum, and they have to come from the retrospectives or reflection meetings, as we call them. So these two are something the parents have to do it along with their children. That is the commitment we have asked. While the learning part comes, we conduct a blended learning program where we give them a lot of worksheets and learning activities and exploration activities for every sprint. So it's a weekly sprint. We give weekly goals for them. So the learning goals become their backlog. So by Sunday night, they would have the learning goals and the backlog ready. So Monday morning, they can have the backlog and they know that they have to submit all the work done by next Saturday. So we don't ask them, one day assignment time and all that. So online, they come for interactive sessions daily, 1 hour. So whatever they're working, wherever there is handholding needed, like maybe some concept has to be explained, or they have learned, they have tried some activity and they come for discussion. That happens online now during the live interactive sessions that we do. So
Wow.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
even age group
Very interesting.
learning and stuff, we are very agile in that. So
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
all based on the
Yeah.
group.
So what kind of challenges did you face? Like, I know, because this is kids now, right? And this is a new framework. People have not kids. Okay, forget people, forget kids, right? Even people find it challenging in IT industry or any industry you take it to. Any change is challenging. For example, like even if you switch your bed tomorrow, it's like, okay, getting sleep fast is going to be difficult at times, right? Oh, my bed has changed, I can't sleep. So, but this was a new concept. Kids don't know, teachers don't know, others don't know. Parents, for parents, it's like, oh my God, are you going to give us homework now as a teacher? Right? So, what kind of challenges did you face in, first of all, telling that, okay, this is what it can help you. And second is how it's going to be great for you, the family, as a family, not as a student only.
So the main challenge, I would say, was not with the children. The younger they are, they adapt very quickly. They pick it up very easily. It was with the parents. It has been with the parents, even for us. It's like if we have to facilitate it, because we have to provide that, time and the, a board and stuff for them to follow up and do that. But children, actually, they pick it up very fast. For them, it's fun. They're doing something new. So the younger the children, the faster they adapted. But there has been challenges. There has been challenges. We didn't want, the main challenge for us was sustainability in terms of uh, sustainable usage of materials. So we have using so many sticky notes and all are against our principles, because we educate children on sustainable development, and we are actively participating in uh, creating awareness about ESD among teachers and schools also. So when we preach something and we want to follow something and we ask them to use sticky notes, again we were generating a lot of waste, paper waste. So there were challenges like that. Some didn't have a proper board, or like a corporate setting. So we had to create a lot of lenient ways. We some use a blackboard, some use a board and they write on it. So as far as they follow the main aspect of planning and reflections that are key for Scrum, I mean Agile, as well as for learning. reflections are very important. So we give more importance that we don't sacrifice on the reflection part. Daily during Scrum, they have to reflect and improvise. And reflection meetings should also lead to the improvising the whole program. But how the storyboard is maintained and stuff, actually each child has come up, each family has come up with their own comfortable way. So that was one thing. The second was with the time. Everyone couldn't do it in the morning when we asked them to do it in the morning. So there we told them it's fine, fix a time. Before dinner, before lunch, whenever you are together or you are having tea together as a family. So whenever the family is together, dedicate some 10 minutes for this. So we had to change some certain things were very strict in the beginning.
Yeah.
So,
We try to be agile there also as much as possible. So that's what we learned. And we found out that it was really difficult for the families to do it in the morning. Initially, we had, this is what we had proposed to them, that they had to do a 15-minute stand-up meeting in the morning. But that was quite a bit of a challenge for many of the families. So yeah, like as Poornima mentioned, we told them you can do it any time of the day, but just do it for 15 minutes. So that I think sort of worked to a large extent. And I think as Poornima already mentioned, it wasn't a problem with the kids, right? They took to it like, a fish takes to water. So many of them were excited to write on whatever they do. And I think Poornima usually keeps mentioning this one kid, he didn't want to write down that, he had to go to bed at whatever, 9:30 or 10 o'clock or whatever, because if he writes it, he has to do it. So they took it really seriously. And so that worked with the kids. The kids took to it quite easily. But yeah, there were challenges with working as a family and also to maintain the storyboard. That was a challenge initially, but over time they have found their own ways to deal with it. So yeah.
Nice. Jayshree, we need to start doing this with our kids now, looks like, right? We both.
I have started doing the Kanban board, believe me, and she loves it. She loves it, but I am going to take some more inspiration from both of your experience. We don't do scrums. She kind of decides her own agenda. She's a very, she needs to stick to the routine. But yeah, it's definitely inspiring. I think what you both are doing is amazing, and it's something very new in India. Like I've heard people doing it.
And just to continue on that, there are people trying over here as well. They are trying to have families coming in, and they want to do a Scrum board or a Kanban board as y'all are doing it. But again, I definitely agree that the challenge is people people who are at work and who are nowadays going to work over here. Getting up and doing that 15 minutes in the morning is difficult. You want to just rush out to your office or whatever work you're doing. So absolutely, I agree. That's a challenge, and that flexibility definitely needs to be there.
So as you were mentioning, this adapting to changes and get coming up with a new habit is also challenging. So there we try to, whenever we talk about agile and we talk to parents, orient them about how we expect it to happen. So we actually mentioned BJ Fox way of tiny habits.
Nice
so
book.
Yeah. So we try to tell them, there are different ways but if you can't reach, make complete Scrum and do sprints, everything properly from day one, don't expect that. Take it slowly. And over time, when things start working, we'll find a way. It's not like, a rigid structure. It's about the thought process, basically, I think, more than the physical thing. But that moving that,
the stickies, that's what the kids like, right?
Gives a lot of satisfaction. So we are planning to come up with a more, easier way to do it, which is sustainable as well as less expensive to maintain. For example, having magnetic boards or something and move with a magnet. We tried that, but the magnetic sticky notes are very expensive to buy. So we can't ask everyone to purchase. So we are thinking of ideas, even though all the families we have told them. So if you guys know any way that we can make it much easier and affordable,
Absolutely, absolutely. One idea I can give it to you, in which I do it. Okay, not at home, but we do it with the teams. Is we celebrate after every sprint. Okay, so you can try this with the kids, and they will enjoy it. Like, okay, once they do all your stories and everything has been completed, like completed at the end of the sprint. When you do a retrospective, you need to celebrate a retrospective. So maybe the kid gets some, I don't know,
Chocolate.
chocolates might be, it might spoil their teeth, or ice cream, but something else, whatever it is, maybe, get listed his thing, what he needs to buy, or something small or something thing. In short, let's celebrate. Maybe he wants to eat something which the mom makes very well, right? Let's say some shira or something. I'm just saying pineapple shira because I like the South Indian pineapple shira. So that could be the next Sunday, if you're doing a retrospective or reflecting on Saturday. Okay, Sunday celebrate it with Shira, that okay, you did everything and this is what it is. So you should try that. So this is an idea and I am patenting it. Okay. So share some commissions with me now, okay, on this idea.
Yeah, if it works, definitely.
I've not tried it with the retrospective, but what we did was initially the children are all at home, so we don't physically meet them. We have children from all over. Out of 20, there are few from Hyderabad, Visakhapatnam. We have couple of students from Malaysia. We have couple from Dubai. We have people from Bangalore, Mysore. So they're all distributed, and we can't physically meet them or give them something physical. So we had thought of giving them badges monthly once.
Oh,
if
nice.
they do everything properly, like we give badge for integrity, that they attend, log in on time, they submit on time. If they can't submit, it's not compulsory, but they have to inform us that I need a couple of days more. So then we give badge for creativity and neatness. So
nice.
For that itself, the digital badge itself, the children get so excited.
Okay, so you are celebrating in short. Yeah, that's nice.
If we can do it every sprint, I think they will also attend the reflections quite, meeting with more enthusiasm.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think so. Celebration is very much needed to motivate and boost people also, right? Especially kids are yellow handling, but you should do it with your parents also, right?
Yeah.
The parents also, especially we husbands, get something to eat better, right? Srikara, at times.
The mothers may not be there. On Sunday, I have to prepare special for everyone.
She will remove that story and put it in the backlog again, right? Instead of
No, it will go into the backlog. No, it will go into the backlog of the father. This Sunday, it's who will take care of the, making the dish.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay, this was nice. Yeah, go ahead, Jayshree.
Yeah, I think I have a very quick question. Very interesting conversations and thoughts around this. But what is the curriculum that you follow?
Okay, so the curriculum is roughly based on the national curriculum, that is NCERT. It's aligned to it, but not strictly. We don't follow everything according to it. But we see to that if the children study with us, they will be able to write the equivalent exams, whatever exams they take. They will be ready, prepared for that. But one very unique thing about Agile Shala is not only the learning management through Agile. We follow a pedagogy called phenomena-based learning, which is one of the the way that they do it in Finland. It's a national pedagogy that they follow in Finland. So here, what I realized, if I have to tell about why I more oriented towards phenomena based, when I finished my MSc and went to meet, I got in for PhD, and my professor with whom I joined later, we were supposed to meet all the professors and give a short listing, top 3 priorities in which lab we would like to work. So I met him. They used to ask, what are you interested in, which field? I gave 3 topics, and those were my subjects, the how I have studied. cell biology, anything with protein chemistry, I will be interested. He smiled and said, any lab you go in here, you will do all the three at one point or another. I understood it after a year into the program. I still remember that day when he told me, because that made me realize when we study, everything is subject wise, compartmentalized in our brain. But right now, any field you get in, it's interdisciplinary application. In high school, when I asked something which is related to mathematics, I told you, haven't you learned this? One child told, oh, this one I learned in maths, ma'am, that's why I didn't tell. So that is how I was also. I think most of us were, that we grew up like that. And breaking those subject walls itself is a great unlearning that we need to do once we get into a job. And that is why most of them fail in applying initially. It's a hard journey, transitioning from school to a job. So phenomena-based learning helps us do that, break the walls. So out of 1 month in at Agile Shaala, 3 weeks, children learn subject-wise, grade-wise. So there, as Srikara was telling, according to the skill, we have regrouped the children. During our reflections and retrospectives, parents also have suggested that they may need some changes in the thing. So we also have realized. So based on that, we have regrouped the children. But 1 week is the celebration week at Agile Shaala. We call it Phenomena Week. So there is no subject-wise topics. We pick up a natural phenomena. It can be water, it can be lights and shadows, or it can be environment. And we give 10 integrated questions for children in mixed age group. We just divide them into juniors and seniors, and they get 10 challenges for that week. So Monday morning, instead of the backlog learning goals, they get these 10 questions. By Friday, they have to pick at least one out of it and work on it. So during the interactive sessions, we interact and help them, handhold them in whatever explanations or discussions. It's water, why is it important, or sustainability, or it can be the mathematics that they need to do something. It can be how to set up an experiment. So such things we help them. But we leave the child to pick up at least one. They can do all the 10 if they want. By Friday, they explore that and are ready with a presentation. So that Saturday is an open house where the parents and facilitators and all the children come in for a Zoom meeting. And the children present what they have learned. Each one gets 5 minutes slot. So we don't tell them in what way they have to present. They can create a video, give a speech, create a story, for draw something.
It's hard.
Yeah, they can use any creative means, any language, as far as we understand that language, because otherwise we'll not know. We don't restrict them in any way, and they present it, and that is when we learn a lot. To be frank, so they come up with such beautiful presentations. And all the 8 multiple intelligences are included in those when we frame the 10 questions. We actually try our best to equally distribute all the 8 multiple intelligences there. But children pick up according to their natural inclination. So we have actually realized where their interests lie. Natural inclination is towards something, towards experimentation or theoretical work and stuff. But they don't think about science, maths, social. They're applying everything together to learn about that phenomena. So for light, they looked into light and architecture. They learned about light, reflection of light, science behind it. They did shadow art. They created shadow play videos. So we allow them to think beyond, without those walls. And I think that is where we stand out.
Nice. This is like brain-based education instead of that education, what do you call it? This is like brain-based education. This is I believe this is something new you guys are working on. Believe me, like mostly people work on academics or subjects what they have, but when you're trying to focus on a child, especially on his okay, what he's inclined to based on his brain behavior, and trying to understand that, I think that the kid can be awesome whenever he finishes school.
Children have actually.
That is the hope. Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, please go on.
Yeah, that is also a challenge. Sometimes we have to tell them to, fix something that they are maybe not comfortable with. Right? Like one kid, he or she wants to do only one kind of activity, right? So sometimes we have to, like, encourage them to pick up something else also. I mean, we don't force them, but we, sort of try to motivate them to uh, pick up other kinds of activities also. And also during that week, as Poornima was mentioning, we don't have regular classes, but they meet as two age groups, and we get them to do some activities related to that particular phenomenon that we are focusing on for that week. So we are trying to make them. So it is also good in a way that that one week they don't have they have their minds off studies. So when they come next week, they are sort of rejuvenated again. So that has helped them being motivated also. So yeah, that is something that I just wanted to mention.
Nice.
The main thing that Agile has helped the children is actually they have shown the younger ones, 6-7-year-olds have taken it up much better compared to the 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds. They actually plan their work. The parents have told that there are a couple of children who don't write it. They are lazy to write or document it, but they have started thinking on those lines. Like he says, okay, I have planned my day. Tomorrow we are going there to my grandmother's house, so I will not be able to do this part. So I will plan it for the next day. So they're able to apply it in their, planning has become like integrated in their life now. So they are able to think, they are getting their parents in, like, please help me with this. I have a deadline on Sunday. So the parents are
Oh, wow.
actually pulled in. A 6-year-old tells download the assignment and give, otherwise I will be late. They will ask me, did you see the assignment? I would not have seen. So they are reminding the parents and asking them. So that parents have really enjoyed.
Now that Poornima mentioned it, I remember like the first phenomenon week, what kids did was they wanted to take up every question or every activity that was there. So all the 10 activities they wanted to do it, right? And by the end of the week, they realized that they couldn't do justice with any of the activities. So during the next phenomenon week, they were very, very careful in what they were going to choose. So they planned, they did that retrospection there also and planned accordingly. So that is something that we have seen as well because of the they were basically they were prioritizing, and that helps them actually.
Small things like initially their backlog was science, maths, English. But which part they will do, the subtasks were not they were not broken down into subtasks. So over time they realized that they have to put subtasks. Otherwise they will not be able to complete one the whole day. So they will not know how much they have completed. So even the backlogging, listing it out and prioritizing is what they have really learned, and they've told, no, I actually took too much on. I thought I will finish it, but I couldn't. So for tomorrow, I have planned, a little less. I've taken up little less. So the reflections actually are helping them in the process.
Nice. So they do their own estimation, in short. Okay, whether they will.
Learning that. They even tell us now, this was less. We finished it. Next time we give more. They're like, oh, you gave us more this time. I couldn't finish that work only.
Nice. It was great talking to you, Poornima and Srikara. This is good learning for us also, right? For everybody, just for people who want to implement Agile at home or Agile in education, especially, and with the family.
Great.
It's not easy, but once we put that effort, I think the fruits are very
it is still a learning journey for us. It's a learning curve that we still are evolving.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you very much for your time. And thank you for
having
discussing
us.
with us. This is something new and which people will definitely like to implement it, or they might come to Agile Shala and connect with you guys. You never know, okay?
We would want
That would be great.
every city and every part to have its own Agile Shala. It may not be
Oh,
called
good.
Agile Shala, but every house, if it actually starts implementing and we work as a team, I think each one learns through that process.
Of course. Absolutely. Learning is never ending.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us here.
Yeah, we
Thank you.
enjoyed the discussion. It was really nice. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
So I think we look forward to other stories of how Agile is used in different.
Absolutely. Look forward for Agile World Indie, and you will see a lot of things, not only Agile in IT, but Agile in cricket, which is going to come very soon now,
Yes.
or Agile in different areas.
That's great work actually, identifying such roles, because it gives a complete new perspective, right?
Absolutely.
Agile.
Absolutely. So thank you very much once again. Thank you, Purnima. Thank you,
Thank you.
Srikara.
Thank
Bye
you.
for now.
Bye. Bye.
It was very good. Keep in touch.
Thanks. Thank you so much for being here. It was a learning experience for us too.